I pretended to have a happy marriage for my cancer-stricken mom's sake. At our final family dinner, my husband showed up with his pregnant mistress. Mom couldn't handle it and passed away. He then asked me to be understanding of his mistress's pregnancy emotions. I finally decided to free myself. My mom's chemotherapy failed. Her last wish, one final dinner with all of us gathered around the table one last time. But that night, as I set the table for what was supposed to be a sacred reunion, my husband Hayes brought his new lover with him. Sarah, her belly was round, unmistakably pregnant. She wasn't there just to flaunt her pregnancy. No, she came to rub it in. The shock hit my mom like a freight train. Her health had already been fragile, but this crushed her. That night, she slipped away from us, the life draining from her as if her heart couldn't take the weight of it all. I tried calling Hayes, once, Sparch, over and over again, nothing. It wasn't until the funeral arrangements were taken care of that he finally called back. His voice was cold, detached. Sarah's just a kid. Zara's just a kid. Elise, she doesn't know any better. Don't had pick fights with her. Just when don't start anything. And just when I thought I was done listening, he added, and Spart, look, I get that you don't like her, fine. I will keep her away from you. But she's carrying my kid Elise. I still have to be there for her. During the week, I will be with you. On weekends, I will be with her. His tone left no space for debate. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't fight. I just gave him a quiet munstiang. And then, without a second thought, I logged onto the Global Medical Relief website and submitted my application to volunteer. Because of those promises we once made, they were nothing but empty echoes of a past I was done holding on to. It was time to let him go, and it was time to free myself. Elise Pawas Hayes went on about his plans. His words floated around me like a vague cloud. I wasn't really listening anymore. My fingers were flying across the keyboard, filling out the Global Medical Relief application without a second thought. The qualifications flashed on the screen. Every box was checked. I didn't hesitate. I was done hesitating when he finally stopped talking. The only sound in the room was the rhythmic clacking of my keys. Then came the irritation in his voice. Label star Elise, are you even listening to me? I barely registered his question, responding casually. Nabascalam silence. Maybe he was taken aback by how easy I was to ignore. Maybe he thought I would still be waiting around for him to apologize. A moment later, his tone softened like he was sighing into the phone. His words reached into my past, pulling out ghosts I thought I could buried. In the 5 years of our marriage, countless women came to us. The arguments, the constant betrayals, the parade of women who seemed to get a thrill from rubbing salt in my wounds. The first time it happened, I lost it. I threw things around, screamed until my throat bled, and demanded answers. But all I saw in his eyes was exhaustion and the same old tired excuses. It's just work. I was just being polite. Nothing is going on. How often do I have to say it before you trust me? Apparently, I was the problem. The irrational one. The wife who couldn't trust her husband. So I did what I always did. I made myself question everything. Was I overreacting? Was I just too suspicious? I apologized. I humbled myself. I begged. And then, as if the universe was playing a cruel joke, the news broke a photo. Hayes stepping into a hotel with some B-list celebrities. I lost it again, confronted him. But this time, there was no defense. No excuses. He just looked at me with an exhausted, almost pitying gaze. Umbrn Elise, do you really not trust me at all? If that's how you feel, then fine. Well, do what you want. And he did. From then on, the mask came off. No more lies. No more pretending. No more explanations. Every week he was in the headlines with a different woman. I even caught him one night, his lips pressed against some woman in his car like I didn't even exist. When I confronted him, he didn't bother denying it. Silence. That was his answer. In 5 years of marriage, I lost track of how many fights we had.